Hey guys, welcome to the race. Here we have a race with Piglet. As far as I'm aware, it's the only Zwifter I know in it, but I may be incorrect. But yes, we're off at 6, so under a minute's time now. Here we go. So yes, sprint race on Seaside sprint. There's points race, so we've got 34k, 5 laps, so that will be a sprint each time they go through the sprint across the bridge after the final hill in the S's. So yeah, here we go. Bless it, Swift looks like it's having some fun here, doesn't it? There we go. We had to get out of the pen first before we could see some normalness. Yeah, so here we go. Good field in this, a few Hula Cole guys, lots of Swedish Swifters. Plenty of people ranked under 100 to make it a high class field really. But yeah, so Piglet couldn't do 2 ZRL races yesterday, so we thought he'd come and do this one today as well. But yeah, so I believe I said 34.3, so should be able to call the final distance as well if I can remember that. But yeah, to be honest, I'm just here to watch more than commentate anything, to be honest. I'm happy to do some talking if people would like, but I thought it would just be nice so we could get a view from kind of Paul's perspective of the race being torn up as such. See if he's in a Discord to see if there's any interest to be gained from that, but I don't think he is. Nah, so we'll have to rely on our guesswork for what's going through Paul's mind. Uh, 34.3k. Yeah, so there's a sprint each lap at the end of the S's, so I did quick maths. That works out about 7k a lap roughly, just under. And yeah, it'll be hard through the sprint. You'll have a bit of recovery, then you'll climb up into the volcano, which will be hard again, and then yeah. It's interesting to see him going so hard so early. Obviously a little bit worried about it being too comfy into the first sprint. That said, the quality of this field, they're not going super hard. Interesting to see one guy already off the front. He's obviously hoping for some little bit of points gain there. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? You've got to get it just right. So up here, you want to be at the back like Paul is. Well, I mean, we're going to be shown how it's done. It's Paul. But yeah, and it's getting that acceleration through the group down this descent so you can kind of launch or sprint that drop later. That said, although they're absolutely rocketing it down here. Brutal. Mappa's going to have to put a big dig in to get back on. It's already out the draft. Look at that from Paul there. Perfectly through. Off the front with loads of momentum. He's done a 10 watt per kilo sprint. They're doing a, what's that? 15 watts per kilo I think I saw from the first of the Swedish guys. Just to come in line with him. I mean, he may not have taken that sprint, but when you consider the amount of power he's had to put into that sprint compared to them, it's a joy to behold really, the tactics like that. Cap it all off, he's nicely embedded in the front of the group without having to go too hard. Yeah, the elbows are right, Ruben. Just recovering, really. Got my next appointment on the 20th. Well, hopefully it will come out of the cast and then it will be mobilising it. But yeah, Just got to see how it goes. Hey Phil, cheers. Yeah, I have a fan to Ruben, you probably heard. Not too bad, thank you. Brutal being Muffa just off the back here. He's working so hard to try and get back on. And he's closing the gap down the hill as well. But yeah, Piglet's going to have to help him across a bit here, I think we're seeing. Hopefully he can just about sneak back in across here. Looks like he will. Yeah, this shows the danger if you're caught out on that sprint there. Like, it is absolutely brutal. It's one of my least favourite courses on Zwift because there's no climb for me to benefit from, and yeah, it's just hard effort without proper recovery a lot of the time, which yeah really doesn't benefit me. But yeah, so here we are, we'll have the little kick up into Volcano where no doubt we'll see someone doing ginger numbers for no reason. And yeah, then they'll roll back round and into the S's again. And it'll go again for 4 more times. I think the first time you pass through that sprint is the end of the lead-in. So yes, it's 5 laps from that point actually. Yeah, which bring the laps down close to 6 and 7k actually. My mistake there. Interesting seeing a mix of plenty of aero with discs, a few of the aero guys without the disc, and then a mix of trons. No one's been silly enough to ride a lightweight bike, it seems, which is probably a good thing. But there we go. Ginger numbers up here. Just what's not really required. We're saying that if someone starts doing them, you all have to start doing them. Small field, but a good field. That little breakaway, 2 guys 7 seconds up the road. Yeah, so Martha's gone straight through, obviously, he's not back in his sprint, wanting to get up the road, which is a decent tactic, but the problem is, though it's not the biggest group, you have to be a really big guy putting out big watts to get away from a field like this. And from what I remember, I'll have a little look on Swift Power to see if they're big watt monsters off the front, but I don't think they are. The Martha's only 73 kilos, and the other guy off the front, I could get myself a look at him. It was Matt somebody, I believe. M. Collins. Come on. Yeah, so yet again, not an absolutely giant rider either. So arguably, potentially a tactical slip up there. Another Matt Brook. No, it wasn't Matt Brook. Matthew Collins from Torque. 74 kilos to 73 kilos. So in this field, they are on the heavier side with it being such a light field. But at the end of the day, I'd argue it's not enough to get away that pure in terms of pure watts. Will be interesting to see how it plays out though. There's obviously a chance. They've got that 8-second gap. Interesting, Kelvin. He's a good rider. I've raced against him a couple of times. But yeah. I mean, they've got 8 seconds. You've got to remember, each time through the S's and with the sprints, this group behind is going to be absolutely railing it through there. So the time lost there will be significant. It's whether they can get enough buffer in between each lap. The interesting thing as well is the Torque guy up the road doesn't have a teammate, so although the Coal Boys can sit in, there's no Torque guy benefiting from this. So that's his only play really, is himself. But yeah, you can see the Swedish Swifters putting some organisation in to close the gap. I'll try and have a check, Kelvin. I'm not quite sure myself. I think it's foul, if I remember right, FAL, but I will see if it's in the description. Yeah, so it's foul points, and places 1 to 40 get 40 to 1 points. Not necessarily relevant to this smaller field, but it's what it is. But yeah. Yeah, Piglet is absolutely chilling here. He's put a little dig back in to close them on the uphill. Perfect. As far as I'm aware, he's just going for the sprints, but the Swedish Swifters are putting some work in to try and bring back a gap where there's a Wahula Coal Rider up the road, Calvin. Although, inside information, I did say to Paul he's got to put an attack in now where I've got a Piglet flying on the thumbnail. He's got to live up to the expectations. Yeah, Ruben, so for my division they have been. I think the North, Northwest and West divisions, it's up in the air still, exactly what's going to happen. They're going to be nullified, but whether that's every single team in those divisions or if some leagues got the whole league in or not, we don't quite know yet. But yeah, so A5 were 9th. We're A1. I want to say you guys are still 6th. I'll see if I can have a look. But I will do that after the sprint though, actually. We've got another one coming up here. Yet again, Piglet, not going stupid hard to get to the front at this point in time, but doing enough to stay in touch and see if he can kick through the group again. You can see how hard this race is. Where Martha and Matt have been caught, like they're just being shot out the back, really. Although I believe Matt Brooke from Wahula Coal's been having what's the word? Dropouts, it looked like. Yeah, again, look at this. You're only doing 10, 11 watts per kilo compared to 15, 16, 13. And he's up there with them, and they're having to work really hard to rush from behind. Oh yeah, true. That's a good point, Ruben. I just kind of assumed that they didn't get the right that they'd be correct in the league table, but maybe that's still up in the air. Yeah, it was a good week of racing. Good night of racing yesterday for Backpedal. I say, A5 looking like a comfortable night, which we'll take, to be fair. You guys were Central A1, I believe. Yeah, looking 8th, and can't imagine you going down anymore. Small chance you might go up. But yeah. Oh yeah, you were flying, Ruben. You were front group, weren't you? Oh yeah, I heard that from Mick, that he was front group and absolutely flying, but Piglet dropping back to help these two guys across. Playing the team game. He's just getting the surges training in, isn't he? Oh, nice one, Ruben, yeah. Well, I mean, to stay in the front group of Div 1, that's proper impressive, especially your league. For sure, Kelvin, that was so many sprints in such a short period of time, with a bunch of guys with really decent watts per kilo, but potentially not the strongest sprints. It's not ideal for you. Like, when you've got a bunch of 1200 watt monsters dropping them all the time, plus a bunch of guys like Andy Nichols in your league, it's tough. Oh man, burrito for the finish. Not what you want, is it? Absolutely, I'm a terrible one. If I think I'm going, I will use that power up regardless. The way I look at it, someone else might get dropped, and if I can get back in, I guarantee myself a place in that front group. Whereas if I drop off, there's no chance I'll pick any places up. Whereas if I use to power up and get back in, really keen on getting this move in this group. I guess with such a small group, they want to make it an interesting race, and they're all a similar strength, so it's only by attacking like this that they really can. Yeah, you can see with Hula Cole working really well as a team, covering every move. Difficulty with this one though, there's too many people in it for it to work off the front. Yeah, what route is next week, Ruben? I know it's a sprint one, but I don't know exactly which one it is. Yes, because Paul was looking for a race to recce it, but ended up in this one because there wasn't one. Oh, that's a horrible route. That's better though as a lightweight rider, because you've got that chance up the climb up to Trafalgar Square. You can really put the hurt on people there and break a group up, particularly if you've got a team pushing. Got a really good chance there. The sprint is horrible though, downhill, all about the pure watts, like minus 2% like that, it's just not ideal for a lighter rider. But it's a good fun course, I do enjoy that one. Yeah, really pushing up that second half of that ramp up to Trafalgar Square, and if you keep the pressure on over the top of it, there's definitely a chance to really catch some people out. Because the speeds are so high the rest of the way as well, if you get dropped there, it's really, really hard to get back in because of the high pace generally. What double race will you be doing instead, Kelvin, then? So, if my maths is correct, this is going to be the third time through this sprint, which will be 3 laps to go. My maths may be wrong though, it's highly likely. One of them Crit City races with a punch up every climb is basically a structured session in it, Calvin. If you push on in between, it becomes a sweet spot with surges, or if you sit in the group, it becomes a zone 2 with surges. I mean, they're both things, right? After that one, pick a race with some longer climbs, or a race where you can do some breakaways, then you can get some longer duration efforts in as well. For sure, that's a a big session, and it's got laps, so I guess it's structured. Hey Ben, how's it going, mate? Here we go again. Swedes are surging really early from the back of the group to try and break it up, but it's just not the way to get the best sprint times in theory. You want to be coming from the back on the descent rather than from the front back on the climb. By saying that, they are doing a good job of putting the hurt on everyone, so... But yet again, here comes Paul. Perfect slingshot. Going super early with this one. Question is, can he get a big enough gap to break the initial draft? He has. Maybe he's trying to stay with the group. Yeah, no, those Swedes have a massive kick on them. Tell you what, the class of sprinter in this field is very high. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, go for TTC, Kelvin. You know you'll enjoy it. So who's down for that so far? We've obviously got Ben, I know. Did you put your name down, Ruben? So at the moment I've got Nick, Paul, Ruben, Simon, and Ben. That's a team there. 6 super strong guys there. Love it, Ben. I mean, I can't argue, but I love it. Yeah, get your name down there, Calvin. That's you might as well. There's not really enough people to draft. Yeah, Paul's got a question mark, but he's not taking himself off it. We'll have to see. Going for a bit of a move here. As far as I'm aware, Ben, just to get tough and fun, get a good training smash in. Okay, so down to 5. Definitely get in there then, Calvin. Get the numbers up. Yeah, it's up to 6. Five is a good sized group. If these guys work together, they're gone. The issue is, I don't think there's enough Swedish Swifters. So I think, yeah, you can see it coming back. Seaside want to risk one of their guys when they think they can win it from a sprint with probably 3 of them. Honestly, Ruben, I think this is training because he only got to do one ZRL race yesterday. But yeah. Over halfway now, so yeah. 2 minutes to go. Oh, it's a no-go. Oh. Love how you're going easy enough that you can type in chat and watch whilst absolutely smashing up off the front here. I see, it's an interesting one. If that Swede had followed it, that would have been interesting. If he backed himself, all of a sudden it would have been a case where you had a Swede up the road and 2 Swedes in the group who aren't going to chase. So, I think we're not following it. There's potentially a mistake there. Or 3 Swedes in the group who would have been under no pressure to chase because they had one guy up the road who was guaranteed a top 2. An interesting one. You drop one of the Swedes, which is a good thing. You've got to slowly whittle them down. There's lots of them and they're strong. He's doing a sustained 6 watts per kilo to try and get in, which potentially, if there's a punch as he gets back on, that will really hurt him. But I don't think he's getting back on, to be honest. He's having to work so hard, and if his group speeds up a bit again, he's gone. And they don't appear to be sending someone back for him like you have been going back for your teammates, so... Here it goes. And that, my friends, is how to do a perfect attack without a chance for anyone to get in your draft. "30-second gap in next to no time. Absolutely super impressive. Take a moment to appreciate how perfectly that move's been made, really. Dropping off the back there, it's absolutely flying past. Working with this guy to close the gap. Absolutely, make them work, make them bleed. They've got the sprint, so they're gonna have to try and work which will hopefully sap that sprint a bit. Of course, you've got to get across to this guy in front, and if he's hell-bent on going solo, and if this guy on Paul's wheel don't want to work, what can you do? Which thinks that he finally thought I should put a little bit of effort in. It's so annoying when someone does all the effort to get off the front and just sits up as soon as they get someone else with them. That's typical, isn't it? It's a perfect attack, but you needed the other guy to work with you, and he's just, yeah, it's disappointing when people just seem to shoot themselves in the foot for no reason. He had a good chance to get across there. This guy off the front is sitting at a big power, and to see his Swift power stats to see if it's the kind of thing he can hold. I imagine it probably is if he's this committed to it. 5.2 for 20. So that's a big effort from him at the moment. I guess he's hoping it can stabilise a bit off the front of the next sprint, or at the very least he can actually take this sprint before getting reabsorbed in the group. I'm expecting a big surge from the Swedes up here though. Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Yeah, that gap's coming back quickly. Yeah, 65.4 kilos, Calvin. Go on, Paul, get across. If Paul's got a sprint left, this is a near perfect position to be launching from if he can get the draft through the group. But he's been working very hard up to this point. Go on, Paul. Up, 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 up. Back into the group nicely without using too much energy. Yep, straight out the back. Is that guy? Or am I? Yes, he's been brought back, and he's a second off the back and having to put a big effort into 2 seconds off the back and having to put effort in to close it. He's dangling off the back, and yeah, he's having to do big watts to get back in, isn't he? Yeah, that gap's gone in it. There's no way he's getting back in that, surely. Tell a light, he's back in. Shows what I know. That's why there's such a big gap, because he's already back in the group. Proper commentary list. Completely not realising what's going on in the race. Absolutely, Calvin. And we're even stopping there to do a bit of photography. Yeah, that should be about right with the numbers. Yeah, because that was the first sprint they went through. What is he launching? Let's get back in. Oh, here he goes. Cheers, Phil. See, the Swedes are onto him now. They've realised he can't be let go. This American is sticking to him like glue, and it's not really working, is he? Well, no, tell a lie, back in the group now. But yes, long way to go solo, particularly with a motivated team chasing. Chance to break it up a bit though. Though I fear some orange numbers up here will bring him back. Keep at it, Paul. Make them hurt to get you. Certainly not a small gap. Still away from the draft yet, and they're going to ease at the top of that ramp like they always do. Well, yeah, proof Piglets do fly indeed, but Phil, proof indeed. Question is this a hard effort? But he's looking good. If you can get a sustainable gap ahead of the sprint, which I reckon you've got in the legs. Just depends how hard these Swedes want to work to bring you back, and everyone else back with them. That's the thing. I'm expecting a kick on this ramp behind you. But yeah, these high speeds, it's hard to bring back because with Paul here travelling at seemingly comfortably about 48 k's to 47, 48 k's an hour, they're going to have to work hard to close that. We all know the pack paces in ZRO are they're high, but they're not much higher than this, and it's a big investment from a small group like this to close back at those speeds. If you can maintain this gap to sprint pool, I reckon you'll still be out front ahead of it. There you are. They're panicking now. But there's no organisation to this chase, which is good. Massively impressive solo effort for sure, Phil. Well, you can see there's a few panicking. Look at that group being strung out behind now. If I go back here, strung out, and people are only just running back in. Here you are, another guy trying to put a surge in. It is closing the gap, but they're working hard for it, and it's not in a organised, comfortable way for them. Absolutely, Paul. Sitting up to be ready for the sprint, are we? They're not closing this gap particularly quickly, and it's like the old TTTs, isn't it, Kelvin? Yeah, nice bit of recovery pre-sprint, and they've all had to hurt themselves up to this point as well. Just by dangling off the front here, there's going to be some panic in that group that you're still off the front. You do like a nice strong surge to the front, don't you, Kelvin? Nah, you're super strong. I mean, to be fair, it's a very good point, Phil. We don't often see like Tony Martin or Stefan Bissiger or somebody typing away on their phone whilst they're off the road. Super impressive from Paul here. And look, he's got that gap back out again. Because they didn't close it down. That's their prerogative. And that gap's bigger now. Yet again, they're going to have to super hard to bring that back. And Paul's got that bit of rest ready to really hit this climb hard. So they can't take loads back from him. Up, 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 Paul. Up, up, up. Fantastic effort. Look at that. Perfect. He's playing them on a string, isn't he? Just get that speed up for the descent so they can't come swamping back. They will gain time, but I think the gap's big enough that they won't close it. Perfect, and into the super tuck. Barely on the descent and he's already round it. It's beautiful. Some points here for sure. The thing is, they're going to sprint hard and then sit up after sprint as well, aren't they? But they have to. Because they can't go for a flat out sprint and then continue it. And they are doing a flat out sprint each time, so fantastic effort from Paul here. And almost around the corner before they're in sight yet again. It's just mentally draining for them to see him so far away. Yeah, we're into the end game now. Last lap. Absolutely, Kelvin, absolutely. And they've still not closed that gap. I imagine they might with this gap now. But they still have to do that work to close that final bit. And that gap, that group is smaller for sure. Fantastic riding from Paul there. Group shrunk right down, fantastic. Maybe 9 of you, 10 of you? Fantastic way to really narrow it down. And lots of Swedes, but not as many Swedish Swifters, which is a big thing, because I think the other Swedes weren't necessarily working in a team together with them. And they've still not closed it. Some nice recovery in here, Paul. Perfect. 13, Kelvin. Nice one. 12 plus Paul. They don't, do they? They want to leave you hanging out there, but the thing is you're getting just as much recovery as they are. Look at that heart rate recovery. back down into 130s already. Fantastic work. Love it, Ruben. Love it. So 4 Swedish Swifters, 1 Team Italy, 2 Wahula Cole, and then a bunch of individual riders. Got to look out for G Visting from 63.8N. He's got the best kick of the field. Actually no, Lindqvist from Swedish Swifter's biggest kick. Then Visting is the next biggest kick, but he's been sat in a lot more than Lindqvist. Lindqvist has had to work hard. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, Matt has got a good sprint here. If he can get in position to unleash it, he can do well in this. He's got a good kick relative to the group. Your kick's up there in terms of watts per kilo, but in terms of pure watts, there's a few bigger guys that will be able to put the hurt on a bit there. Watch out for Adams going long, because he's got by far the worst kick here. Adams and Unknown Fellow. And Ericsson from Swedish Swift. No, tell a lie. Yeah, Adams and Unknown Fellow going long. That is, of course, if they want to win. They don't have the sprint numbers. Here we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Team attack. We love to see it. Just to put the fear of God in some people. Love it. Interesting to see him going long. Obviously this is cagey, isn't it? No one wants to fully release yet. Surely this is where if you're a Swede, you start sending people up the road one by one to try and test it out. Can't call it. Looking forward to this finish, should be good viewing. There you are, Adam's gone long. Called it. An Unknown Fellow following as well. That's your 3 light riders was good that have got to try and go long. Go on, Phil. Go on, Paul. Up, 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 up. That's a gap. That's the gap you've got there. Keep it on, mate. You got this. You got this. You got this. Big up here. Big up here. Go on. Go on. Go on. Keep pushing that out. You got this. Go on, up, 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 up. Make this hill yours. Got to give everything here to make that gap keep growing. Go on, up, 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 up. They're using near full sprints to try and bring this back. Keep it up, 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 up. Make sure you can get in with them over the top if you're going to sit up and wait for them. Go on, up, up, up. Let's up and recovering. You've got a good slingshot through here if you make most of it. Go on, Paul. Up, 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 up. Everything you got, mate. Hold off to first from behind. Finish that position. You got it, mate. Fantastic work. Brutal finish that. Raw, proper exciting. That was a good watch, I think. Wait for Swift Power Live to catch up. They were lucky to close that for sure. Amazing riding, Paul. Thought you'd had it for a second there, but only a few of them managed to get back in. You certainly put a lot of the group out the back there. Dictated it on your terms. Great to watch. Just going to keep the stream going. See if we can get some results up on Swift Power. But yeah. Here we are. Yep, so Paul in 5th. Visiting, who I called, with the win. And yeah, Paul in 5th, nice work. Only one of the Swedish Drifters guys got in front of you. The team of 4, for only one of them to make the top 5. Fantastic work. Right, here we are, Swift Power. If I can make it fit the screen. ACTFS, strong effort, mate. Here we are, a little bit bigger than the screen, but that'll do. Great work from Paul there. Proper punchy race. Bearing in mind how much time Paul spent off the front as well, that average isn't shabby at all. Looking at what other guys in the group averaged. No worries, Paul, it's great to watch. Right. See if I can get proper results rather than live. I don't think they'll be up yet. Oh, here we are. Nice 5th in a very elite field. Great work, Paul. Right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Amazing work, Paul. That was fantastic racing from you there. Yeah, called it there, I think. Great work, Paul. See you later.